Please describe Baker Tilly's adoption of OnPoint EBP and how it fits into your overall DaaS strategy.
We started our entry into the cloud with OnPoint EBP for a couple of reasons. One is that it's one of the more mature products, part of the cloud suite of products, and so it was a good first candidate in that regard. Second reason would be that we also we were looking to solve internally for getting our EBP team all on one methodology. Through various recent mergers and acquisitions, we had multiple tool sets and multiple methodologies that were out there. And so this was an opportunity that presented itself based on where the product was in its life cycle to solve for a need that we had as well. And so we migrated half our practice this past year, and the remaining half or so is coming on to OnPoint EBP currently. But it's a way to get users acclimated to the cloud, acclimated to the apps that are built on there.
I would add too, Marsha, that OnPoint EBP was really the first part of our strategic vision to kind of move the Baker Tilly Assurance practice into the Caseware cloud environment. So we really wanted to start, as Marsha said, with a product that was mature in its development, so that we could really focus on the successful implementation of our entire employee benefit plan practice. That will soon be followed by PCR and the dynamic audit solution, other OnPoint products that are sponsored by Caseware and the AICPA, and is part of our longer-term strategic vision to, as I said, move our entire practice into the cloud environment.
What results have you seen since adopting OnPoint EBP?
Our strategy with EBP consisted of 20 or so early pilots, followed by our phase 1 implementation, which was roughly 1,000 or so plans, and then currently now in our phase 2, which is all of our remaining plans, so another 1,200 plus plans. And in terms of measuring how it's going, because we're just at the start of phase 2, we don't have a ton of data available to us, but there are a couple things that stand out based on where we're at so far. The jobs that were part of the pilot, we saw increases in efficiency on those jobs as they moved into phase 1. When we were in the pilot phase, we weren't necessarily seeing anything that stood out to us because engagement teams had essentially just one job that was different than all the others. And so it's hard to gain efficiencies when you're doing one thing differently and all the others on a separate platform, separate methodology. But once all of the jobs were in OnPoint for those teams, we did see an uptick from those pilot jobs previously. And when we look at our phase 1 implementation as a whole, we were relatively flat for the first year of implementation. But as far as product implementations go, that's actually a really good stat because you have all of the training, the learning curve, the change management, right? All those factors that come into it that would generally in first one detract from the realization and what you're seeing. And, we did have certain teams where maybe we saw a little bit of a decline there, but we had other teams where over the course of EBP season, we did start to see some efficiency gains. And when we look at it from a broader practice standpoint, it was relatively flat overall. And that is a good stat.
Equally important, I think, to the metrics and how the firm thinks about it and what the results are from a firm perspective is the user experience. And I think that what we have found with OnPoint EBP is that our users like using OnPoint EBP tool. It's really intuitive. The functionality of the technology is easy to learn. The methodology is intuitive. It makes sense for users. So I think from our team members' perspective, they've just had a really positive experience. The feedback has overall been really positive. And so I think working with team members that actually enjoy these new technology tools is a win. So along with the metrics and the positive kind of numbers that Marsha was talking about, I think it's important to offer innovative tools that are commensurate with our team member skill set. And I think OnPoint EBP fits that bill.
Yeah.
What excites you about working with Caseware, both now and in the future?
One of the things that excites me about working with Caseware is that they have a unique ability to bond with their customers and to spend time and provide meaningful and productive conversation and discussion that results in a better product for our team members. So I think part of it is just about relationship building. You know, they're a vendor, Caseware is a vendor that we have leaned on over the past decade. And as we start to explore and embark on a journey to cloud in these different environments, we rely heavily on our vendors. And Caseware is a vendor that we can count on. They've been there when things have gone great, and they've been there when we've really had some challenges that need to be worked on, and invested in Baker Tilly as a partner, and that's really important to us.
One thing I'll add to that is throughout the time frame in which we've been gearing up for and then deploying OnPoint EBP, we've had a cadence of regular meetings with Caseware. And those meetings have provided an excellent opportunity to ask questions, provide real-time feedback, get quick answers to maybe items that we hadn't originally contemplated, but came up, real time as we're working through things. And I think that, again, speaking to that relationship, right, is a key part of what makes all of this work with a smooth product deployment.
If you could go back 2 years, what advice would you give yourself about your technology journey?
I think the advice I would give myself 2 years ago would have been to spend time internally at our firm finding ways to get our younger people to embrace technology in a more robust manner. I think that there's a perceived view or perspective maybe that younger generations have this just willingness to embrace technology out of the gate. And I don't know that that is true all the time. And I think that if we could create a culture that is maybe, more robust in nature, where we are really encouraging the use of technology and allowing people the time to learn and to train others on the use of technology, I think it would have paved the way for maybe a more smoother change management process. I think when it comes to some of these new tools, we know that the tools are better than what we have today. That's not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is getting people of all generations, so I'll throw everybody into the boat, a willingness, right, to embrace these tools. And there are so many pressures on our audit professionals today, especially our younger team members, whether it's time, whether it's willingness to learn something new. I just think it's something that I would have, involved other areas within our firm, our HR people solutions team or our learning and development team, and just trying to find those different ways to kind of maybe change our culture a little bit and enhance it a little bit more when it comes to technology and adoption.